Breaking Star Trek news. There's been a lot of breaking Star Trek news lately. The most shocking of which is that Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth have dropped out of the Star Trek 4 movie. This is actually Star Trek 14. What? That's what Spock's thinking right now. That's what I'm thinking. What the hell? I mean, geez. Let's get it together, guys. Look, William Shatner's available, okay? In this video, I'm going to lay out my theories of why I think they're making so many new Star Trek shows and why there is so much Star Trek news all of a sudden. And I think a lot has to do with Seth MacFarlane's success of the Orville. He pitched it to CBS and they turned him down. So he went up and did it on his own on Fox, of course, because Fox gave him Family Guy and made him rich and famous and have a lot of power. Back to Star Trek news. It was pretty shocking that they replaced the showrunners with Alex Kurtzman, and it's even more shocking that they have 5 new Star Trek shows in development, which is all good news. The bad news, however, is that they are probably going to tie all the Star Treks in together so CBS can own them and put them on CBS All Access. But there is going to be a Picard show featuring Picard after The Next Generation. He recently announced this at the San Diego Comic-Con. I have a video on here. They're also working on an animated show where they could have the voices of anybody and they could draw the characters, and a la Seth MacFarlane, coincidentally, and they could portray anything in that Star Trek universe. There's also a series in development on Khan's early years where it would be like a Star Wars side story. Yes, this is all good news. We're all happy about all these shows. Whether or not they come out or not doesn't really matter. At least they're working on them, and there's a lot of Star Trek in the works. Now, why is there a lot of Star Treks in the works? Because CBS needs shit to put on CBS All Access. Now, even if it comes out on CBS All Access, we can deal with that because there's Netflix, there's Hulu, there's all these streaming services, and they've got to have something to put on them. Unfortunately, Les Moonves is in charge of this, and he's the one that canceled Enterprise right when it was getting good. I just started watching the 4th season again. Those are awesome episodes where they put in the Klingon ridges and recon them and stuff, and they got the Defiant in there, and they dress in the original uniforms. It's awesome. So this guy's not that smart. I mean, obviously he's smart. I mean, he's rich, so he took advantage of women. So he's probably on his way out. He's caught up in the Me Too movement of being a rich and powerful white guy that takes advantage of women. Duh. At least he has enough sense to bring Star Trek back into production to create new Star Trek stuff. He's probably on his way out. I've heard behind-the-scenes rumors that he's on his way out and that they're going to replace him. But who knows? He's rich and powerful. He might stay there. We'll see. Now, what the facts are is that they're creating new Star Trek shows. They're creating the 2nd season of Discovery. Hopefully, it's going to be a lot better. Kurtzman's in charge of creating a bunch of new shows. Rumors are that these 2 actors right here have pulled out of Star Trek 4. That's bad. They can still make Star Trek 4. It's in the Abrams timeline, and they have their own merchandising and copyright issues to keep in that timeline. That's the big problem. The CBS franchise of the original Star Trek, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager is totally different than the J.J. Abrams movie. They're on different copyright and different merchandising agreements with Paramount. That's a different story. Now, there's still the Quentin Tarantino movie, which is 5 years out. They may rush that in production to create the Star Trek 4 movie. Midnight's Edge did a couple of excellent videos on all the facts and rumors of Star Trek, the Abrams timeline, CBS, Viacom, and the merchandising. I'm going to put a clip here in a minute. I'll have links down below. Basically, CBS owns the original series that aired on TV, and Paramount owns the movie rights to the original movies. And J.J. Abrams' movie is owned by Bad Robots and a licensing deal with CBS or Viacom. Anyway, long story short, the Abrams timeline movie is not really relevant to what happens in the TV shows that CBS is creating. CBS is taking hold of the franchise and making new shows for CBS All Access. That's good. The movie Star Trek 4 is probably going to have to be remade. But there's a lot of good Star Trek out there. It's in the works. It's all because